Hey everybody, and welcome to Dude's Brunch, a podcast about breakfast food and pop culture, but not necessarily in that order. We have a panel of guests this evening. We're going to go ahead and get started by introducing them one by one, starting with Tyler Reed. Tyler, what did you have for brunch today?
Donuts. And black iced coffee. No, I got some Holtmans today. I had to pick up my girlfriend because we were going to my grandmother's birthday party today that I completely forgot about. Whoops.
You're the worst grandchild on earth.
I know. Well, considering we both forgot about it, we're probably just going to, buy her something and, send it to her, like a card.
Because nothing says grandchild love like sending something days after the birthday in a card.
Oh, well, you know.
I don't live in the same town as my grandparents, so I'm never obligated to be at anything, which is fine.
Right on. And Tim, who has somehow gone nameless. If you can fix your overlay, try. But I don't know. Tim, what did you have for brunch today?
Well, let me tell you. I had cold pizza. I'm not proud of that fact.
Don't be,
but it was quick.
Don't be ashamed of that.
No, I did. I had cold pizza, which was fine. I wish I could answer this question tomorrow because I bought some chorizo at Jungle Jim's today, and I'm gonna make that tomorrow morning with eggs, and it's gonna be great. So that would be a way more impressive thing to say than cold pizza, but final
What kind
answer
of
is
pizza?
cold pizza. I don't even remember. Is that bad?
Anchovy pizza?
It was not anchovy pizza. I can tell you that much.
Oh.
But it was pretty good. It was Domino's, nothing special. But
Uh-oh, foreshadowing.
Sometimes you just gotta live that bachelor life.
it's
okay.
true. Oh no, my girlfriend was there too. It was not the bachelor life, believe it or not. But
And that's
Throw
not,
the joke, Tim. Jesus, come on.
it's okay. Tim's new around here.
It's fine.
Sean, what did you have for brunch today?
Coffee.
Got him.
That's it. That's all I had.
Your brunches have gotten sadder and sadder as
I
the
don't
show
like
has gone
breakfast.
on.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure they've been consistently just black coffee for a while now.
Well, at the beginning of the show, he was making homemade blueberry bread and all this stuff, and now he's just like coffee.
I had to work today. I had to work early this morning.
He had things to do. He was busy.
Okay,
Some people have to work on the weekend, Taylor.
don't hate.
What'd you have?
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for showing concern. I once again went to a brunch today. Thanks, Sean. And so I made a coffee cake and some banana bread, and there was an egg casserole and some bagels, and it was nice. It was a big brunch.
A very starchy meal, don't you think?
It was a very starchy meal, yeah. But I ate brunch at brunch time, from 10 to noon with some mingling around, and I didn't really eat lunch, so successful brunch day.
fair enough.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. We have 4 topics this evening of lots of different topics this week. They're all not very related, but it's going to be fun. But as a reminder, you can play along with the show at home using the Dudes Brunch bingo board. You can find it at dudesbrunch.wordpress.com/bingo, and the winner of bingo is going to get a handmade prize from one of us. How neat is that? Talking about something that's pretty neat, Sean, I understand you have some news about Amazon.
Great segue. No. So my topic this week is what were you gonna say before you rudely interrupted me?
I was just going to say...
No, whatever. Let's move on with the topic. So basically what I was going to talk about this week was Amazon 1-hour delivery. I just sent the guys, and we'll post it on the YouTube and Facebook and whatever else. A Fortune article about, and they clickbaited it and put Amazon delivers alcohol, blah, blah, blah. But really it was just an article about 1-hour delivery in major cities. Basically, sum it all up. In these major cities, you're going to be able to order food from your favorite restaurants and drinks, supposedly. I don't know. That's kind of a legal gray area from what it sounded. But guaranteed delivery in under an hour. So the only catch thing is that you have to sign up for Prime and pay the $99. But other than that, go to town. And it's made by humans. It's not for drones yet, but soon drones. So my first question.
Could
Go ahead.
fly booze to my house.
Yeah, pretty much. That was the clickbait part of the article, was Amazon delivers booze to your home.
Is it 24/7 or?
I guess so. I don't know. It wasn't really specific.
Wow. Yeah,
So-
because people really need to order liquor at 3 in the morning. You know.
I'm drunk. I don't want to go out. Deliver me more.
Not like you could buy it if you went out anyway. Like.
So I mean that's all I want to talk about, because I think there's like some really weird things going on here. Okay, so my first question is, if this service were available in your city, let's just assume that it is, would you use it, and do you think it's a good idea?
Nah, I don't think so.
Would you use it?
No, I wouldn't.
Why not?
I just like I noticed too that like it's not just like you have to have Amazon Prime. There's like a surcharge of like $8, and I just like for food or for booze, like I don't know. I guess I'm a little stingy. I don't know. Maybe it's my age and not getting big fat paychecks. Like I'm just not gonna pay $8 when I could go to the store and get alcohol in 10 minutes. Like I'm not gonna pay like that $8 surcharge. I don't think so. I don't think I would. No. Maybe in a very specific situation, but like by and large, like I don't think I could justify like what it would cost on the reg.
Yeah, when you say $8 surcharge, that's practically like a 6-pack. I mean, a craft 6-pack is going to put you back like $10. So you're paying for whatever you're buying, plus almost a whole other 6-pack or a whole other meal's worth of just delivery surcharge. It seems steep to me. I don't think I would do it.
Do we know if there's like a limit on the capacity in which you could like bring stuff over?
No, there wasn't any mention.
Well, of course, because it's a clickbait article, but
Right.
Depending on the amount of stuff that you could like bring. I mean, I imagine it's. I'm sorry. Is it the drone robots that they're gonna be doing the one-hour delivery?
No, it's people. It's
Cool.
like messengers.
So it's not the drone bots yet.
Right.
Because I was like, it's almost worth it for the drones just to show up at your door and be like, oh, my little robot friends. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, we're all not exactly in a great place economically as 20-somethings to do the service. But I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not for me. But I'm also trying to figure out who it's for, because I'm optimistic about it. I like the idea of it, but it would have to depend on how much stuff you can get.
Okay.
For the deal. Because if you get $8 shipping, I would pack on like a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I don't know.
But then at that point, it basically becomes like catering, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, so maybe I can answer some questions, and this is why I'm actually for it, and I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
The reason that I say, like, would I use it? Yes. I'm not ready to pay for Prime yet. But I think if you look at similar services, if you look at what you would pay, because there are companies that deliver food. I mean, you guys know this. You've seen it. They'll go to your someplace, pick it up, and drive. You still are going to pay a delivery charge on that. Will it be $8? Probably not. But you still have to pay a delivery charge, and they only go to certain places, and usually it's like fast food places. Essentially,
Right.
where I think that this place kind of capitalizes on is the ability to get nicer food from restaurants that would be willing to work with them. So, I mean, I was talking to my girlfriend, and I was saying, I don't think that 5-star restaurants like Wolfgang Puck's are going to be like, oh yeah, no, let's do a carryout business with Amazon. But like the better higher-end restaurants that are that already do a little bit of a takeout business, I can definitely see them getting on board with this. So if you're already down for paying like $50 for a meal, even bigger, I mean, $8 is more than what you'd have to leave in a tip just for the waiter.
Right, and you probably do have to leave a tip on top of that $8 surcharge, don't
Right.
you? So even that way, say maybe it's another 10%, 20%. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. If you're already paying $100 in food, what's another $15 or 20?
Right.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, that's a good point. Like I guess I didn't think about that. Like yeah, I see where you're going with that.
Right.
Yeah,
I
and
mean-
now that you're saying it that way, like if it's the option of trying to get a reservation somewhere or
Right.
having Amazon deliver it,
That's a
that's a
good point.
no-brainer.
Is it economically feasible for the four of us? Probably not. Is there a large middle class that this is totally economically feasible for? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just why, and I think like if I'm ever there, that would be cool, you know. Or even if I had like a night where I just wanted to eat something really good, just have like an indoor date or something, and I don't know, last minute romantic dinner or something, where I just put out all the stops.
As someone that sees hundreds of people every day coming through a food service line, most of them mothers with screaming children behind them trying to figure out what they want to eat. This
Yes,
is
sir.
like, you're like, hey, how about you just have some 15-year-old kid run into your door from Amazon?
Right.
Then
That's
you
what I mean.
children
I
can
think
scream at each other in the privacy of your own home.
That's
Right.
right, and not come to Chipotle.
And it doesn't have to be pizza too. I think that's another thing. Like you could
Right.
actually have like a lot bigger variety of
Yeah.
things. I don't know. I think that there's going to be some gray area with this. Let me make sure I don't answer another question. Okay, yeah. I think there's going to be some gray area because I can't imagine like an 18-year-old delivery boy being hired for Amazon to like actually go and pick up like a bottle of wine
Right.
and then like driving it to your door. So I
there
think
would
there's a-
absolutely be limits on it. You'd probably have to be 21 to be one of their delivery people.
right. And
Or at
I
least
just think
19, maybe 19 is the legal age for
right,
handling
serving.
something like that. Yeah.
Right, right. So I just think that there's a lot of like things that have to get worked out still, but I like the idea. I think that there's already a market out there for it. I mean, Tyler, I think he summed it up great there. Like if you have 6 kids, you're not going out.
Right.
I have like parents that come into my store and they're like, "Oh, I have today off. My kids are with a babysitter, and now I can go shopping." And it's like, what? Why do people have these things? But
All
that's
right, so do you want white milk, chocolate milk, apple juice, or a cup? All right, it comes with a small bag of chips. Is that okay? All right.
Oh,
Next kid,
Oh.
please.
oh, I do not miss that life. Saying.
Okay, so my second question is,
Stay in school, kids.
would you pay for Prime to have this service? Like, are you a member of Prime, or would you like, if you were going to use it on a regular basis, would it be enough to pay $90 up front and then $8 every time?
Yeah, I think if you were going to use it regularly, sure. I mean, there's a lot of reasons it sounds like to have Amazon Prime if you can afford it. You know, they have some good shows and they have some good. I've heard their standalone service is pretty solid. So yeah, but I mean, yeah. If you're planning on using this on a regular basis, I mean, so $90, $99. That's what, like an extra $8 just flat charge a month. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. I think if I was planning on using it, it would be very reasonable.
All right.
Yeah, where I live, tons of people are on Amazon Prime because we don't have anywhere to shop. And so I've thought about getting it just for the shipping.
Yeah.
And so to have, the music streaming and then video streaming and then this in certain cities on top of it, they're doing a really good job of making Amazon Prime seem like it's worth the $90, I have to say.
Sure.
Right. What about you, Tyler?
Oh, well, I already used Prime. Well, I got the 30-day trial or whatever the fuck it's called. Like they give you like the brief period of using it, and then I accidentally let it charge me the first time without paying the student fee, and I was like, oh, that's $70 gone. And I was like, eh. And then I like made sure to know when my next time it would renew again, and I was kind of like, well, we'll keep Prime. That's okay. Because I mean, it's just everything cheaper store. So I'm like, why not? I can be like, oh, I need a cold brew or like a special kettle or like a blender, and it's like I can just get it for cheaper and have it in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler, your girlfriend says, would I pay to have gluten-free food delivered to my door whenever I want?
Hell yeah.
That's an interesting component.
Yeah.
If you have any kind of food allergy or dietary concern?
Yeah, and I mean, some people have, devastating allergies where even like being in the same restaurant as A, B, and C,
Right.
they run a serious risk of getting sick.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I think that's an interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig
I
it.
think if with bundled with other services, this would make me. I would get Prime, not for this, but as an added component of having Prime, yeah, this does. It's a good selling point for me.
Also get a nice selection of music and movies.
Right. You don't have to leave at all. Amazon, they'll bring everything to your house. Why do you need to leave? Consume Amazon.
You don't need to go outdoors. You can be a perfect capitalist inside your house.
Amazon, what is outdoors?
Named
The
after a
irony of
forest
that is
keeps
not
you
beyond
inside.
me.
I'm
So-
curious if our viewers and listeners could tweet in throughout the week. I want to get a census of how many Dudes Brunch audience members have Prime and how many don't. Because Tyler, you're the only one on here that has Prime, right?
What if the Amazon headquarters is like underneath the Amazon? And it's like a giant secret fortress base. And one day it'll just flip over and it'll reveal itself, and that's when they'll start their control of the world.
Are you implying that people that run huge companies are evil geniuses?
That's right.
Do extravagant things?
Oh, Tim. Oh, Tim, you know that's exactly what I'm saying. And
Okay, so my next question is, because I think we're coming up
Silly.
close to my end of my time, but I like this one. If you could have any food delivered now on Amazon Prime, like right now at this moment, what would it be?
Ooh.
as in right this second?
Right. Yeah,
On this
this moment.
podcast?
Right.
Ice
Like,
cream.
like you're punching an order literally as we speak. What are you punching in?
Chicken and waffles. I
From
don't
where?
care where it's from.
I want ice cream. I don't care where it's from. It's really hot in the room I'm recording in.
Yeah, that's a good question. Just something really refreshing. I mean, honestly, a few hours ago, bring me a burrito right now. But right now, a nice, smoothie or something, I could go.
Mm. Yeah,
Sean?
I don't know. An ice
Breakfast
cold
hot
Coke.
pocket?
No, ice cold Coke. That's it. That's what I want delivered. I need a nice caffeine buzz. Oh. And with
No
that,
coffee
that's
buzz?
it for
Come on.
me. Oh, I have that here. I'm good on that.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
no,
know Sean's
just,
got
just
coffee.
kidding. Another case of Milwaukee's best ice.
Oh, man.
Milwaukee's best ice, the secret mascot of Dudes Brunch.
And black coffee. Nondescript.
Luke says, read my tweet live so I can add it to my bingo board, damn it. There you
Hey,
go.
what up?
All right. So next up, we're going to talk about my topic. I want to talk about home screens. So the home screen on your phone. I had all the dudes send in their home screens, and if it's okay with all of you, I'll put them up on the website after the show
Go ahead.
so people can judge us.
That's
Sure.
all right.
So looking at the other people on the show's home screens, did any of them surprise you guys?
Hold on, let me look again.
Sean has so many sports apps. What's going on with that?
That was my thought too. I was like, for somebody who hates sport ball, he's got a lot of sports apps.
Hey, listen. I don't play sports ball that much, and well, hold on. Let me look at my phone real quick because I just want to remember which ones I have on there because I have so many I can't remember.
I'm doing the same.
No. I just have three. I
I'm
have
also the old-
I have the NBA one because the Cavs are great and I want to follow the Cavs. I have MLB because the Mets are doing really good this year and they're actually leading their division. And then we usually go to the Rubber Ducks game in Akron. They're the minor league team in Akron. So I watch them too, and I just check on them every once in a while when I'm on here and I have nothing else to do. So.
I knew Tim had an Android, but it's always surprising to me to look at Android phones.
Yeah.
Because I just get so used to the grid of the iPhone.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty different, for sure.
Any other surprises in there?
Did everybody except me have Snapchat on their thing?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't do that.
I kind of before I took the picture, I kind of curated it because I kind of forget what apps I actually use because basically I have two screens. I don't the home screen is exactly what I use every single day all the time.
That's
and
mine
I
too.
like moved Snapchat over because I've been trying to use it more, not that I actually used it enough. So that's kind of like, I was like, I'll put it over there before I take the picture because I felt like it deserved a spot there. So Snapchat almost didn't make the cut. For
That's
reference.
fair. Instagram isn't on my homepage, and I use it more than Snapchat probably. Maybe about equal amounts, but it's just not on there.
I look at Snapchat or at Instagram, but I never take pictures. I'm just a catalog of every time I see Bleeding Cowboys, and that's really about it.
And that's a good reason to use Instagram.
Right. It's really more of a Snapchat idea now that I'm using Snapchat, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, looking at other people's home screens, could you survive with other people's home screens? Is there one in particular that you looked at and you were just like, no?
Sean's.
Yep.
Just kidding.
I was going to say the same thing. I can't do it.
Why
Your
do you guys have to be
background
so-
is so distracting.
That's true.
What?
Uh,
I was about to compliment Tyler and how beautiful his background is.
Well, thank you.
We'll talk. It's really hard, I realize, for our viewers and listeners to understand what's going on because they don't have the images in front of them. But
Way to
Sean's
go.
background is just so busy. Like, it's cool. It's just busy.
Right, it's hard to read like what it says, and that's sort of like what I want. I want to be able to read it. That would be like a good lock screen one.
That's
to
what
have.
it is. I just make it the same.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
maybe,
that's my lock screen.
maybe you should change. Maybe you should have a more smooth one for your home screen than your lock
Well-
screen should have that design on it.
I thought about changing it, like, to send it to you guys because I wanted to look cool, but I was
Uh-huh.
like, no, I need to send it like it is. Like,
Exactly.
not playing.
I have to
Yeah.
say, I really like the giant weather on Tim's home screen.
Yeah, I do like that
Yeah.
too.
That's a nice little thing, honestly. Like, you know, when I had crappier phones back in the day, it was such a pain in the butt trying to, like, get any kind of I mean, God, the weather.com app used to be abysmal. And, like, just trying to get on the check the weather was always, like, surprisingly frustrating because, like, it did a poor job, like, finding my location and da-da-da-da, and just... So it's nice to just have a little thing, like, right there, like, boom. This is how hot it is, you know?
Yeah.
Except
I
what
noticed
I
that was
also
the one thing that was on everybody's home screen was some kind of weather app.
Yeah, the
I
other
don't
thing,
have
though...
one.
No,
What's
Tyler
that?
doesn't.
Oh,
I don't
really?
want- Nope.
He's an indoor cat. He doesn't do that.
So I have it in my mini bar. Oh, I have it, but you know, I wish Apple's weather app displayed what the temperature was on the icon, but I know that's a little too much to ask.
Tyler's is the only phone that's about to die.
Right. My phone has been dead for like several hours today. I need to get a car charger, which is my problem.
Car chargers where it's at. Tim, you were saying something before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry
Oh,
about
sorry.
Hey, Tyler, Jesus. Got really, really excited about weather. Like, but, no, like, it's just funny for me because, like, it can't really give you, like, a particularly helpful, like, there are a lot of times, like, it won't update if you don't make it update. So, like, I'll look on it and, like, pouring outside. It'll be like, no, it's sunny. Like, what are you talking about, you idiot? And then, like, you have to push refresh.
That's what I
You're
looked
like,
on the.
Who's the idiot now, phone? Like,
I just looked at the
Okay,
bottom
what
of
if
your
it's
screen
refreshed?
there, and it says like Thursday, August 24th, and then right under it says updated on 8/25.
yeah,
Did you want to know the weather yesterday? Because we could do that.
yeah, it's no, like I have to push that little refresh thing to get it, and it's just like, why don't you just refresh like every hour? Like, how hard would it be to make an app that refreshes every hour? So I'm not sitting there like, what do you mean it's 75 and sunny? I see snow out my window right now. Oh, it hasn't updated in 6 months. Maybe I should push the like. You're like, what genius at weather.com came up with that? Like,
Is this supposed
So-
to cut down on background data usage?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing.
Okay.
And
So-
notice that Tim is the only one that has a food app delivery service.
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
I have Taco Bell on my other screen.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Was Domino's that important to you, Tim? Is it a primary?
No. You know, I didn't arrange my. I've never arranged my apps. I am the worst technology user of all time. Like, I just download apps and they sleep where they lie, people. Like, I don't organize them. I don't, because like I probably use Facebook more than anything. It would make perfect sense to put Facebook in that giant space in between Twitter and Snapchat where nothing is currently sitting. But it never dawned on me that maybe that was a thing I should do. Like,
Oh my god, I just got furious. Sean, why is your settings in the middle of your page? And Taylor, why don't you have your settings anywhere on your home screen?
Okay. So I tried to do the CGP Grey one screen and only one screen method this summer. I managed to get it down to 2, and so settings is in the bottom right on my second screen.
Why is it the bottom right? It's like the most important thing.
No, it's not. It's really not. The only time I ever use settings is to turn Bluetooth on and off.
Why do you have contacts in the top left?
Because
Why
I
is that
search
there?
for contacts all the time.
You could just click the phone button and you can
I
get
realize that. I could
contacts.
also pull down and do the search thing. See, this is what I wanted this conversation to turn into. What is it? What about
Furious.
other people's home screens just bugs you?
Nothing. I don't care.
Sean's
At
screen
all.
gets me angrier and angrier the more I look at it.
Sean, why do you have 4 perfectly good rows of apps and then 1 icon in the bottom row by itself?
Cause who cares?
It's
That's
just
the
like garbage.
because you want to see that sweet eagle with the 2 arrows at the bottom. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
idiot.
Yeah, so just make it an empty row and put that icon
No.
on the second
Is
screen.
there is there words in your background that you can't read because of
Yeah.
the app's in the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting never.
Never
Where-
weary or weak. That's what it says.
Okay. I thought it was like never wear. I don't know.
Never wear underwear. That's my motto for life.
See,
Never
you can't
wear
tell
it.
because there's a bunch of shit in front of it.
Never wear. I literally I'm getting never wear oh we.
See?
And then
This makes me so
space
happy
and-
that it makes you guys so mad. Like, I'm never going to change it now, because my philosophy towards having apps on my phone is like, Tim, wherever it goes, like, if it isn't important, I'll move it to the right screen where I shift to. But
That
if I
is
use it
far
on a
too
daily
complicated
basis,
for me.
it's there.
So Catherine tweeted hers in. She says, a lot of social media and note utilities I don't use anymore, lol, except Waze. I love Waze. Waze is on my front screen for show.
I don't even know what that is. Am I a caveman?
It's fantastic. It's a GPS app, but it adjusts your route based on traffic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It also
Catherine's screen
has...
is actually beautiful.
She's also using a stock Apple background, and I am as well. I approve.
I was hardcore
That's just 'cause you're
into stock
uncreative.
backgrounds.
No,
You're
I had,
boring.
I had a couple of custom backgrounds, but they were getting too busy, and I just found one that I liked in the defaults. So fuck you, Sean.
I've never changed my background on since I've had a smartphone, and I probably just never will. Like, if I have my phone open, I'm like doing something. I'm not like sitting there staring at my background. Like, yeah, check that out. That's a good background. Like,
Catherine's Messenger's on her right side, and I hate that. Ugh.
My messenger is also on my right side.
Why?
I hate it so much because I'm a lefty. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, so that's actually what I wanted to get into is what does the way people organize their phones say about them?
Sorry, I keep derailing Tim. I'm so sorry, buddy. I'm not trying to be like,
It's fine.
I realize what you're saying is important, but let's just keep...
I wasn't saying anything. What are you talking about? What?
Anyway.
I mean, I think it's very revealing that Tim never rearranges anything.
No,
He's just
because
like,
why? Because there's 3 pages of apps. Like, if I need something, I will take 10 seconds to go boop.
Right, that's what I mean. Just let him go. Just let him go. He does the most zen thing. He just lets it go. He just goes with the flow.
Cause it's a phone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing, you weirdos.
Yes,
Oh,
This
no, it
isn't
totally
a closet where I have to dig through 50 pounds of shit to find something. Like, I have to push 3 buttons. There it is.
Right, you gotta flip 3 times. That's 3 whole flips in your mental space that you have to remember to do.
Exactly. Minimize time and decisions. Put everything you need right in the front.
Alright, I work in food service. I have 5 seconds when I go into the bathroom, I zip down my pants, I pee to look at my phone to do exactly 1 Reddit post. I gotta do it fast.
Why don't you sit? Are the bathroom police gonna go in there and beat you over the head with a
Because I'm a
club?
good person, okay?
Pooping at work.
I feel guilty. They're gonna know. They're gonna know I'm checking my phone in
They're
there.
gonna know.
Oh my god. The police state of Chipotle.
So do you have Reddit on your home screen?
I do.
Alien Blue,
Yep.
presumably? Okay.
God, that's an awful icon, but whatever.
Yeah, it is. We could spend forever talking about app icons. Maybe Tyler and I will have a show where we just talk about home screens.
Where is
Oh
it at?
God.
I don't
We'll
even
spin-off
see it.
podcast.
It's Alien Blue. Because Reddit apparently doesn't have an official app.
Oh,
No,
it's
they bought Alien Blue from
Right.
third-party developers.
I don't even see it. Oh, I'm looking at Taylor's. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my second screen because I don't use it.
Okay. I don't have Reddit on my phone.
I don't think I need it on my phone. I just have it there anyway.
Yeah, I use it pretty casually, but
And
So,
I don't. How come? Okay, so how come my design is too busy, but when you look at Tyler's,
I was just
Excuse me.
thinking that.
it's
Tyler's
that's not
is too
busy.
busy
That's
for me.
somehow aesthetically pleasing that it's like.
But it doesn't
violet
have text.
purple.
No, it's
It doesn't have text, and Sean's has text, and I
Right.
feel like I
yeah,
should
that's
be able to
really
read
the
it.
only difference. Like, I can still Tumblr's on his head. I can still tell that's a wizard. Like,
right.
You're a wizard, phone.
Okay. So here's my beef.
You wizard.
Taylor wants to do everything on one screen, but then when you fill up your one screen, you can't have a cool design behind it because that's just too damn much. What
That's
is
true.
it? What is it?
So
Come on, Taylor,
I just-
answer the
I just
question.
put really minimal designs
we're-
on my phone.
Are we talking about me?
Both of you.
Okay. Well, let Taylor
Yeah, all of my backgrounds are always super minimal. If I have a custom background, it's always going to be like a simple pattern or a gradient or something that is just a backdrop so I can see the app icons.
I thought you were gonna go like real minimalist there for a second, like minimalist artist. Like you're gonna be like, it has to be minimal, like an apple with one bite out of it sitting on a stool with a dunce cap. Like,
Right. Have you ever seen
minimalism.
Moby's house? That's what I want my phone to look like.
I do really like Moby's house. Hate his
With the Scrabble table?
Yes, with the table that is only used to play Scrabble.
Ah,
I
Moby.
want that to be my life.
It's
Except not with Scrabble
not
because
like
fuck
Leapians. Anyway, in my defense, I since I got my 6, when I got it, I flipped through their basic backgrounds, and I'm usually a stock guy. Because usually I find one that's like really sweet, and I usually stick with it. Listen, Apple had some good ones. There was like a nice like sort of like pseudo like Native American pattern like 2 versions ago on like I think on a 3, and I really like that one, but someone changed it in between versions and I lost it. But anyway, so I decided I hated all the ones for 6, and so I just switched this one. So I agree that mine's a little too busy, but I was like I gotta represent the things that I like.
True.
So I don't know.
Sean's just got his head in his hand, sulking.
Is there a good reason for it, Sean? No.
I just don't understand how like. So what I've gathered from looking at everyone's phone is like Tim uses technology because technology needs to be used. So like wherever the cards fall, that's where they fall. But it just makes me feel so weird that like the 2 creative people, like media arts and design, and then graphic designer, they're like, I love stock stuff. I just like I don't want creativity on my phone. But then when you have it, like when I'm like, oh, I hate stock stuff. Like I never look at stock backgrounds. I just despise them. I get in trouble because it's too busy. It's just the.
Well, it just obstructs. Well, the white typography makes it difficult to read the name of the apps, which makes it feel wrong. You know, that's the only reason why we have a problem with it. Is that there's like a clashing of colors.
I look at the
Right,
icons.
So since mine is green and like doesn't have like a lot of like white in it, like Tumblr's a little hard to read. You're right, and that would make me remove it. So you're correct that mine is also not great. If that's what you wanted, you got it. I'm telling you that you're right that that mine is also busy.
True.
Yeah, I
But
think
it's less busy, and it also avoids a pitfall of having like white or like that would muddy up the type. Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
If you
And
put
I
a white background on, does it change your font to screen, or is it?
I don't think so.
Oh,
That sounds like a really bad idea, though. Let's check it out.
Test it here.
I
I'll
think
do it on my
stock
iPad.
backgrounds for me, like I've just gone through so many recently, so many different backgrounds that I went with a stock background because I knew it would look good with that white text.
All right, we got.
That's the only reason.
All right, we can't see it, but here we go. Here's all white. Let's see if it changes the color. Well,
This
it
icon?
definitely yeah, it changes the color. That's weird.
This is what I was using for a while. I don't know if you can see it. It's literally just like black graph paper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right, Taylor.
I literally just want something that makes the app stand out more so I can see which icons I'm looking at.
But on the white background, it looks weird because it's hard to see the icons themselves because like calendar is just gone. My Amazon app is just gone. So
Voice memo probably just looks like a little waves going through it.
right.
That's really all I wanted. I just wanted you guys to get mad at each other for what your phones look like.
Okay.
Well,
Done.
it worked, you jerks.
So now we can talk about something else that usually makes us get mad at each other.
Besides Tim. Tim's
Board
lovely.
games.
Yay! Board games. All right, but
Let's
not
play.
just anything about board games. Board game videos. Okay. So this week, we were going to talk about International Peace Day, where we were going to talk about the McWhopper, but we're not going to do that. So I had to find different topics. So I wanted to have you guys watch two separate videos that each cover a particular board game in a particular way. Those being the Dice Tower and Tabletop. The Dice Tower is one of the most highly regarded shows for covering board games in the industry. They cover pretty much everything from major titles to lower to more unknown indie titles. And so they produce a mass volume of reviews, and they're very low budget in that they don't have a lot of production graphics or stuff that really they're not using top end equipment or whatever. They're using very standard stuff, but the point is sort of that Tom Vassell, the guy who does the most of the reviews, is very knowledgeable and has a very informed opinion on board games. So he's sort of revered for being very knowledgeable at games, and so that's why people kind of come to him. On the other hand, we have Tabletop, which is hosted by Will Wheaton, which some people hate, as that guy from Star Trek. And so he has a very high production show that focuses more on sort of the social interactions of board games. It's sort of like a board game let's play, where it's a little bit of instruction about how to play the game, and more about showing sort of some of the gameplay and their interactions with celebrities. I say celebrities because they're people from YouTube shows or in nerd adjacent programs.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not exactly
had Kumail on there though.
right. So it's YouTubers basically, stuff like that.
Dude, he's on a bunch of TV shows.
You know what I mean? I don't know who that is. So
The guy from Portlandia and Silicon Valley.
I haven't watched either of those, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, so what I wanted to ask you is which teaching style do you prefer? Did you prefer the sort of straightforward here's how you play the game of the Dice Tower, or do you kind of like the learn as you go style of Tabletop?
Mm.
I didn't watch the videos, Tyler. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The pedagogical philosophies of tabletop board games. I see where you're going. This is a very complicated question.
Oh, okay.
Wow, you must have went to the 18th grade.
Yeah, I don't know how to read. Thanks for laughing, Tim.
Ha!
I don't know. I kind of like them both.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. I think if I was just gonna learn how to play a game to play it with you or with another person,
Yeah,
I like the Dice Tower one more.
Right.
Because it's more straight to the point.
right.
If I just
I'm-
want to figure out about a game before I buy it, I would rather watch Tabletop.
Right.
Yeah. If I'm learning about a game, how to play it, and I'm not playing you, then I'm watching Dice Tower. If I want to play and kick your ass and know all the secret moves, I'm going to watch Dice Tower and then watch Tabletop and probably watch a couple other videos.
There you go. Because there are a lot of board game reviewers out there. There's plenty of them out there that you can get different perspectives on. So it's not, these aren't the only shows that are out there. And do either of you feel like you could play the game based on what you saw?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that even like if Tim watched these, I think if you watch the videos, you could play it too.
Well,
They're really good.
Right.
What's the implication of that, Sean? Like, yeah, I mean, you're a moron, but you can figure it out.
I think these sages are reasonably intelligent and could understand what was going on through.
No, I think he was calling.
I think it says more about me than him how I read that comment. So.
Yeah.
Next week on Dudes Brunch, Tim comes to Sean's house and beats him.
So I don't know. I would love to play this game. I think you would probably beat me at this game, so I would rather play it against Sean and Tim, who apparently isn't capable of playing board games.
Right.
Sorry,
Right.
Tim, that joke's never gonna die for the rest of the episode now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus like that.
Okay, so how much weight does the production value does it have like in this situation? Does the low budget of the Dice Tower take away from like the value of the game, like of the teaching of the game? Does the reality show vibe of Tabletop take away from your understanding of the game? So like they do like the cuts where they're like the players are giving like their input about a thing, sort of like Survivor would or Big Brother, where the fuck, you know what I mean? Which sort of like breaks up the gameplay, and I want to know if that takes away from it, and then sort of Dice Tower kind of is a little janky.
I will say the intro to Dice Tower is way too long.
Yeah.
Their Miami Vice parody was really forced and probably didn't need to be there.
Right.
But other than that, I thought the production quality was fine. I watched the tabletop video at 1.5 speed because it was just so long. I think they could cut a lot of excess crap out of that too. I like the way it's structured. I just think it's too long.
Right.
I had same comments as Taylor. I don't know. The intro didn't bother me, but I just felt like 50 minutes of watching them play and then have commentary every once in a while. Having commentary is fine, but then like it didn't like having it be a reality show is another thing. I understand how people would want that. Like I can see like I'm not really into tabletop games, but people who play it, it's probably like interesting, especially because Will Wheaton has. It seems like he has a funny personality that I can see people gravitating towards watching it because he's there.
Mm-hmm. So like, does like the okay, so tabletop obviously focuses more on like the gameplay of it, like kind of going up play by play of the game. Did you get a good grasp of what was going on throughout the game? Like, could you kind of like did it give you enough of an idea of what was happening? Because it's like it doesn't always just like take a straight shot at the board, and I guess when it does, I mean, is it like I don't know?
Yeah, I think I get what you're going with this.
Yeah.
I understood what was going on perfectly well. I think if they were just doing a top-down shot of the actual board game the whole time, I wouldn't have made it 10 minutes into this.
Right.
I like that it was visually interesting, that they were cutting around and getting all sorts of close-ups. And
yeah.
you could tell they had
do
multiple cameras.
any of these formats have a thing where maybe like down in the corner, like you have almost like a board cam where you can
like poker.
Yeah, and then you your commentary and all your cutscenes and all your funny jokes, but like still keep it on the board at least a little bit, or at least maybe a part of the screen or a half something. I don't know.
Yeah.
There is someone that does it. His name is Angry Joe, which don't ask. He does mostly sort of like more dice chucky, like sort of like video game tie-in kind of games.
Sure.
So he kind of has like several cameras set up, and he kind of I think has them all playing as things are going on. So it's a little bit more probably what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. But so did you prefer one of the hosts over the other? Did you like the guests that they had with them? Did the playing with celebrities enhance your enjoyment of the video at all?
I like Will Wheaton, so I'm biased. I'm not a Wheaton hater like some people. But I think his show is really interesting. I think if it gained more traction and got bigger celebrities, it could be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
One of the shows I'm really interested in right now is this Running Wild with Bear Grylls. Have you guys seen that?
No, I haven't.
It's like a traditional interview, like talk show sort of thing, when they sit down and talk for like 10, 20 minutes an episode. But the whole rest of the time, Bear Grylls is taking celebrities out into the wilderness and like making them rock climb and go whitewater rafting and camp out in the woods with him and a single cameraman.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of got this like, Survivor Man vibe, but he's also interviewing celebrities along the way.
Right.
I think that's a lot more interesting than just like, oh, now Reese Witherspoon's going to plug her new movie on Kimmel. I'd love to see her do that over a board game. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. They're both okay.
Oh.
I don't feel like I have anything to add or anything to take away because I just don't. This isn't my genre, so I don't think a critique is warranted here.
Right.
Well, as we know, Sean doesn't play
Right.
anything
Video games.
at all.
That's right.
Ever.
I mean, you guys read my metal review. I didn't say anything bad about any of those bands.
First episode, September 13th. But okay, so I kind of mostly talked about sort of like the production of it and a lot of like things around the board game. But how did you guys feel about the game itself? Like I said, it's more of a European board game. It's called Stone Age, by the way. I didn't actually say that. It's definitely one of the lighter ones. And did this seem like sort of like an engaging game for you? I don't know. I don't know if you can tell from watching a video of it. That's also a question.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Talisman, so
Right.
I'm sure it's fine.
Well, Talisman's a bullshit fest, but whatever.
Exactly.
John, no comment?
It looked fun.
All right. That's all I could hope for, Sean. All right, Tim. What's
I mean, if you were
what
at your
I'm
house and you're like, let's play this, I would play it.
Okay.
But I generally just have faith that you would have good games anyway, unless
Right.
it was we would going to play games under the guidance of like tonight we're gonna get drunk and play really crappy board games.
I don't play really crappy board games.
You see,
Sean.
Tyler doesn't play. Tyler doesn't play.
That's right. Really crappy board games.
Nah.
No one really plays.
All right. Well, we have like 9 minutes, so I guess I'm done. All right.
Well,
We
that's
have
fine.
13 minutes actually, according to my watch, but
We
maybe
can
I'm
go as long as we want.
That's right.
that's true,
This show is very unstructured.
and that's okay.
You say unstructured. We're pretty much always at an hour every single week. But
We were at an hour and a half last week. Why are we talking about this on air when we could be talking about DIY music? That's why Tim's here.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, so Tim, you want to talk about DIY music?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. Do any of you guys not know what like DIY is? Is like a cultural idea? Like, are any of you?
No.
Tim, you know what podcast we're on.
Yeah. So for those playing along at home, the super Reader's Digest version is it really came around in the 70s with like really the kind of the explosion of punk, and it's basically the idea that instead of trying to find promoters and people to record your music and like basically trying to get professionals involved in the music or the art or whatever it is you're doing, you do it all yourself. You put on your own shows wherever you can, be it like a tiny little art gallery or someone's
A
basement.
dumpster.
Yeah, I've seen some of the the houses things go on in, and not far off. But actually they're really great in Cincinnati by and large. And that's really the reason I've gotten into it is just because Cincinnati has such an awesome, thriving scene. But really, it's kind of become a cultural phenomenon again, and I think maybe the internet has something to do with that, where it's like so easy to get your music out there now. It's so easy to get people to come to your thing because you don't have to rely on posters on telephone poles anymore. You can make Facebook events and things, So it really seems like DIY as a concept, like a cultural, musical, artistic concept, has really made it's really been an upswing recently, like in the last 10 years. So I guess my question is, we kind of live in this era where like everybody thinks they're going to be the next great venture capitalist. Everybody's doing a startup or everybody's doing something like that. Why do you guys think it is that like in a time where everyone's trying to use the internet to capitalize stuff and make money and really turn everything into a lucrative business, why is DIY like on the upswing again? Like, why is this something people are into?
So I think here, at least in Athens, DIY for a while there was the alternative to that in a very like almost militant way. I mean, they weren't like lighting fire to banks,
No.
but the DIY scene were the same people that were, throwing a protest every week to block Court Street and
Sure.
just causing a lot of unnecessary civil disobedience problems.
Mm.
And I think that's not true of DIY scenes by and large, but we had that.
It can be, I guess. I mean, for the record, I'm certainly not the foremost expert. I mean, there are people that have been to a lot of other cities and seen how they do it a lot of other places. I've been a couple places just close by for stuff, but I mean, there's definitely like a political edge to DIY in a lot of places. It certainly is a place where culture and politics and all of that kind of connect. There certainly are a lot of people that are politically active, so in bands or artists or whatever. And I think there's always been an element of that in any kind of like underground culture.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But yeah, is it always militant? I think it kind of depends on where you're from. I mean, Athens is definitely a lot smaller than even Cincinnati is, and I would say Cincinnati's DIY scene has been it's probably certainly more diverse than somewhere like Athens's would be, but.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. Was our scene got too cliquey because it's just so small, and so certain groups with certain beliefs start to dominate it. But
yeah,
I mean, in the last 6 months, the scene has completely changed because it's a migrant university town, and the new scene is totally different. Like most of the venues are completely dry. There's no substances allowed. There's a new venue called the Hardcore House of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Nice,
which is so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite thing about DIY is that the scene can change so fast that you can't really pin down what it is.
Right, and I mean, even talking to people just in the few years I've been doing stuff here, even in bigger cities, it does change. You get. I mean, I had a guy once who's kind of like really really active in the DIY scene here, and he told me, dude, 15 years ago, like people were just mean, And like he seemed really pleased that like that element of it, where people were really cliquey and mean, is kind of gone. But yeah, I mean, it can definitely happen. It's like any other scene,
That could pretty much sum up the style of Cincinnati DIY at the moment. Well, actually, it was probably about a year ago. So imagine you're in a bar that's about this shape and just goes on forever.
Yep.
You're playing in front of a stage that also has the bathroom behind it.
I know exactly which bar you're talking about.
Are you talking about the rake? That's what I'm talking about.
That's the bar you're talking about.
All right, and so people wearing bear masks and just screaming while reverbing their guitars and just making the shrillest sounds known to man just for like 20 minutes. So, and there are several bands like that.
Oh, yeah, there are, and there's certainly an element of that. If that's your thing, man, you can go out a lot of nights of the week in Cincinnati and listen to noise rock and things like that, but there was a long time where I really thought that was all it was, and I've really come to realize, like, there are some really great punk bands, there are some really great indie bands, there are some really great bands that don't just make a lot of noise, and nothing. I have a lot of friends that do kind of stuff with noise, and it's not always my cup of tea, but I admire that they're doing something different, and I admire that even in a small, pretty conservative city like Cincinnati, like there are real like venues where you can go and do stuff like that. You don't have to go to New York, a city of 10 million people, to have a venue that'll let your weirdo band play.
Right.
And I like that. I don't know. I think that's a cool thing.
I mean, Mad Frog will let anybody play, and
God rest its soul. Well, Thompson House will let anybody play if you'll sell 30 tickets.
and that is a rampant thing in the DIY scene. Also, is that there's people let you play anywhere if you want to sell those tickets, but that's just the biggest scam in the world.
Right, and I wouldn't say it's rampant. There are definitely a couple venues that do that.
Right.
It depends on where you are too.
Right.
So, like in Columbus, Promo West has a monopoly on almost all of the venues, and they're all minimum ticket sell to get in.
Yep. And that's we're so fortunate in Cincinnati that is not spread like wildfire. There are a couple venues, I will not deny it. I won't name names, but there are definitely a couple venues that do that. And a lot of people I know avoid those venues at all costs because it is kind of a scam, or at least it certainly can be depending on how they go about it.
Sean, surprisingly quiet on this.
Oh no, I'm just thinking because I'm not in the scene down there, or I haven't been to Cincinnati in a long time. So
Are you part of a scene anywhere, or have you been at any point?
yeah, but I don't know if it's like so much the DIY scene that I'm involved in as it's like I feel like the DIY scene that I've been in is not so much music or art as much as it is like ideas DIY scene.
How do you mean?
Like
That's pretty deep, buddy.
Yeah.
the intellectual kind of DIY. I know that sounds really dumb.
No,
But,
it really doesn't. Like, I mean, there are people around that I think I get into that. They really get into even the politics of it, or just like the ideas. You know,
Right.
I see what you're saying. They get into, there's definitely a lot of people that they really do. They go to these shows, or they go to whatever. They talk, they think, they
Right.
discuss. Like, and there are definitely there's always, I think, really depending on where you are again, cool opportunities for that. Like I know. In Cincinnati right now, there are a couple radical women's groups that they meet and they do an array of different stuff. They read, or they discuss books they've read, or they go and do some event, or they create some kind of event. I know that Lady Fest happened in Dayton yesterday, and it's happening in Cincinnati next month, and that's so I think there is a place for that, and I think that's not an often discussed or respected. I wouldn't even say it's not an often discussed and appreciated part of DIY. I think,
Right.
at least not as much as it could be.
Well, that's what I don't know. I was kind of like I know that you're talking about the scene, but I was kind of delving and check this off on your bingo board, kids, that Sean talks about in graduate school.
Uh-oh.
I was I was thinking about how I don't know. I think that the internet age has really re-inspired the DIY or changed it in a little bit more that
Sure.
now I don't think it's everybody. I think it's not trying to be anti-capital, but it allows you to be indie because you can do your self-promo things. You can advertise for free. I feel like we all four of us might be more into these DIY things because we're broke. To not have capital. I'm not going to the theater to watch the Cleveland Orchestra.
That's a good point.
I'm not going to see the ballet. I go to the library.
Sure.
If I can afford that, but I'm not seeing high life culture all the time.
Sure.
Well, you are as they come into your store. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. That's
Yeah, there's this great. I highly recommend the new Open Mike Eagle album. I think it's Dark Comedy Morning Show.
Okay.
No, it's just called Dark Comedy. But there's a track on there called Golden Age Raps, where he's listing off all the things we can do now that it's 2015. And at one point he says, and nobody has to pay for anything, which is pretty cool because everybody's unemployed. And every time I hear that part, I'm like,
well,
this is everyone on our podcast.
That's a really good point. I had not considered that. When I was thinking, well, we live in an age where everybody's trying to make a buck off the internet. The matter is, DIY could also be on the upswing, not just because of everything being so accessible on the internet, but you're right. Sometimes people don't have a dollar to give.
That's what I mean. That's why I think that I don't know. I am gonna take down that sad road. That I think DIY is reemerging because there really are a bunch of people out there, new graduates being us, that are broke, and we're creative and we have no outlet anymore. So now we're trying to create an outlet to express ourselves. And since we don't have money, we're making something out of it. We're saying hey, we're gonna go do avant-garde rock pieces or art, or have book clubs, or go
Start a
support
podcast.
Right,
Start a
support
podcast.
indie games on Kickstarter and stuff like that.
Start another podcast.
Right.
Your other podcast.
That's it.
Sure. Sure. So I guess going into that, like, what do you guys you think? Like, is this revival doomed, or do you think like this could really be a significant cultural phenomenon going forward? Like, do you think? Here's the thing. Like with the internet, um, do you think we could lose something in DIY getting too big? Or do you think like no? I mean like the internet's the best thing that ever happened to DIY. What are you talking about? Like
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with the latter there and say the internet was the best thing to ever happen to DIY.
sure,
In terms of like general DIY period, that like now you can get your message out there, and I don't know, I go on YouTube all the time to see how stuff works, to see how to do things, how to make my golf swing better, how to record a better podcast, how to prank Taylor, like just the simple things that makes the DIY scene great.
To put into perspective, in 2015, someone that went to college, graduated, got a degree in math, decided to, after getting a bunch of shitty jobs that he hated, decided to start streaming a video game on Twitch, and is now at a point in his life where he can consistently stream a game that people even consider is competitively unviable, but still a game people love to watch. Will have thousands of people show up just to watch him play a video game on the internet and get ad revenue for it and have a sustainable like career just playing video games for hours and hours and hours on end. And
I'm in the wrong business. I don't know.
like it's like the best and the worst. Like people are mad because we're like, oh, why don't you get a real job? Like, well, what job am I supposed to get? I got a math degree. What do you want from me?
Yeah, that's the part that I think we're going to have to deal with. Is that there are two problems that I think the DIY scene is going to face. The internet is really good for it, but we have to stop pretending that people who get famous on the internet don't deserve to get paid. So you saw these articles come out when PewDiePie told everybody how much he makes. And they were like, can you believe that this guy's making this much money on the internet?
Right.
We've talked about this on the show before. Like, he's working. Of course he's making money. He's a famous person. Of course he's making more money than you.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, and I mean,
he
he does get up every morning, make a video.
That's what I mean. It probably takes him a long time to do all that stuff. Like, he probably has to go through all kinds of hurdles.
Yeah, I'm not sure I don't know if it's an 8-hour workday, but it's certainly several-hour workday. I mean, you're not, it's not like he gets up, rolls out of bed, turns the camera on, and goes, "Hey, everybody!" Like,
I mean, you gotta edit those videos, or you gotta pay somebody to edit them. And editing, believe it or not, takes a while to do, even if it is minimal.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we don't have this podcast.
Right. Uh-oh.
But I think the other piece that we're going to have to figure out how to deal with is how do you do DIY and grow up? So I had...
You take it from your rock band into your home. You've seen HGTV.
Right, yeah, you DIY your home HGTV style. I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, I had a professor in college who was really awesome. He's called Kevin Mattson. You can look him up on the internet. He was involved in the 80s DIY scene in DC. And
that scene to be part of.
Yeah, and he had beef with the guys in Fugazi, which I think is hilarious. But one of the things he said when I was working with him on a paper about DIY is, like, at some point he just realized the scene is for young people and they don't get as much done politically as he wanted, and he kind of needed to grow up. And now he has, like, a son, and he's like, I couldn't go to those shows and do all that shit when I have a son.
Sure.
That's ridiculous.
Sure, and I mean, but I think on some level that's kind of the nice thing, too, is that if it's the same people forever and ever and ever, you run into cliques, and you run into people that think, that fetishize this idea that they have to shut down Court Street every week. And you know, and not that protests aren't important, and they're very important, obviously, I know a lot of them, but the idea that, like, you have ideas, and this is how you do things, and this is how you've always done things, and this is the most effective way to do things. Well, right. Like, how does any scenes die? Like, I'm not doing DIY, but like cultures die doing that, So I think there is a beauty in knowing that maybe I won't be around in 10 years, but maybe somebody else will be, you know?
The best example is Wayne Brady teaching, or the host of Let's Make a Deal every day, almost on the verge of suicide every day. So he has to play Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah, would you
That
rather be the
dude-
host of Let's Make a Deal or a short-lived podcast about breakfast food?
That's right.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's, I'm sure he cries all the way to the bank about it. I don't know, but
Well, I mean, he did. There was I guess like an interview or something, but he's was legitimately like, I do not like doing this show, but it pays the bills and I have to do it. And he doesn't want to disappoint the people that come every day to watch it. It's like, he's like, some days I just don't feel like doing the show, but I got to. I can't disappoint these people. So,
sure.
I mean, I'm never going to be able to watch that show again.
Wayne Brady's like one of the funniest
enjoying himself.
celebrities I know. It's like he clearly has talent, but it's like, well, I have to make money, and you can't do improv for a living forever. So,
Sure.
Yes, and Wilton, did you have anything else on this?
I just wanted to know, really my last question was, have you guys been to any kind of a cool DIY event you want to talk about, or anything that was like particularly memorable? I know Tyler was talking about Rakes in Cincinnati and a couple other. Have you guys been to anything that was like particularly memorable? Because I've got one real quick. I guess a shameless plug, if you will, because we're playing there at the end of the month. I went to DeVita House for the first time this week, or last week. First time, and it's a basement venue near UC, and when I say it's a basement venue, I mean they made basement into a venue. Like, they built a riser for the drums. They have soundproofing on the walls and ceilings. They have a sound guy in the back with a full soundboard, and it's decorated, and it's built to have a little area where bands can set up merch. And I was astounded that these people who do these free shows all the time and live there, like, they were so willing to go the extra mile and really turn this venue into a venue. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so if you ever have the opportunity, it's on Eden Avenue in Clifton. It's fantastic. So
I'm gonna go the opposite direction and talk about the only show I ever went to at the Morgue, which is a house that used to be a morgue, that used to be a DIY venue when I was going here, probably like my sophomore, junior year.
Okay.
It was an all-night show the weekend before Halloween. There were like 10 bands.
Whoa.
I knew exactly one person who was going to be there. I showed up, and it was moderate, there was music playing, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Beer all over the yard, drunk people everywhere. Kind of standard. I was like, okay, this is a little bit trashy. Go inside.
Gotcha.
There's a mannequin head, with a spike helmet, held on by the strap, stuck into the ceiling.
Sweet.
There's a dog just running around. The whole place looks like, the crime scene from an episode of True Detective. And then when the next band finally starts, it's the loudest and most awful thing I've ever heard in my whole life. It's so bad. And when they finish their first song, they're like, "We are Fecal Foot Job!" And I was like, I need to leave. And I pieced out.
That's, and those kind of shows happen, but the show, I carefully chose my show. It was indie and some punk and some other stuff, and actually 3 of the bands there were on tour when I went to my show. One was from Baltimore, one was from, maybe Connecticut, and one was from, somewhere else. They were from somewhere like Chicago or something, and it was an awesome show. So I think that certainly helped. It was the music was good,
Yeah, if the music's not good, it can totally destroy it.
It can be hard. I understand.
Sean,
what about the other 2 of you?
I already shared my story. Bear masks making noise rock at the rake. Horrifying. Oh wait, actually no. Actually, I have a even better one. Okay, so there was, I forget what the name it was, but it was a festival. Sorry, in Friendship, Indiana. So we had to drive like who knows how many hours out in like a van, and I was like their roadie. And so it's just a field, and there's not like a stage. It's like just like a tent.
Yep.
That you just put your stuff under, and there's just like a bunch of like shitty food trucks, and it was just, everyone just like tents out, and it's just like this like rap rockiest guitar, like acoustic guitar, like.
Do you have an instrument great you can play type of thing?
Well, I mean, it was like it was clearly composed. Like they clearly spent time on it, but it was like sort of like urban white people trying to be like hardcore with their acoustic guitars, but also rapping. It was strange, and so we were like, their band was like a full like electric, full like sort of like alternative band. So it was a very strange situation. I was a little
it's a little odd.
There was lots of paraphernalia as well, and it was awkward. It was a strange situation. People were dirty.
Yeah.
I just want to send Tyler as a field correspondent to DIY shows now.
Okay. That's fine.
Oh my god.
The
That would be
DIY scene.
hilarious.
I'll beer cat it. It's fine. Oh my god, we live in the future. I can just live correspondence. With my phone, I could be like, all right, they're wearing the bear mask. They're screeching. You can hear it. And you're like, he's putting his guitar against the amp again.
Actually, are we shamelessly plugging at some point here? Because
we'll let Sean tell his story and then we can shamelessly.
I do have a festival that I would be a correspondent for. So.
Hell yes. Dude's Brunch live correspondence. Do you have a memorable DIY show?
I have an idea and then I have a memorable show. So probably about a year ago, a little over a year, I went to Nelsonville with Sarah and one of her friends, and we saw we were in the gallery. I don't remember what it is. It's literally in downtown Nelsonville, which don't blink because you'll miss it.
All one block of downtown Nelsonville. Yeah.
Right, and it was in the art gallery down there. I don't know what it was called, but it was a feminist art collective, and it was a performance piece. It was called Human Knitting, and essentially. This woman was in like, I mean, it was really cool actually. She had like a huge ball of yarn on the floor, and then what she did was she like tied it to her finger, and then she like wrapped herself up in it, and like unwound this huge ball of yarn around herself, and then she like slithered out of it, and then just left it in the middle of the floor, and then just like walked out. It was pretty neat. I was like, okay.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
But that's like live art.
I'm glad that exists.
It took like 45 minutes. It was such a long thing, and it was so hot. But I mean, that's okay. I think that's just part of DIY.
That is definitely a consistent part of it, I would say.
If you're not sweating, it's not DIY enough.
So my idea about DIY was a few weeks ago I was playing racquetball in the park with a stranger, a guy who I didn't know. I like saw him at the court, and I was like, "Hey, let's." And we were talking about running, and he was saying how expensive running was, which is true. Like if you run a 5K, you're gonna drop like $25, and it's just dumb. Like I don't want to spend $25 on a 5K unless it's a cause that I really support, and I don't know, it's just a 5K. But if you run a marathon, they're really expensive. Like you can pay like over $100 to run a marathon.
Sure.
And I was thinking like, and he was saying like back in the day, because he was kind of older, and he was saying like it used to be like $1 to run in like marathons and stuff like that, because it wasn't for profit or anything, and it was usually like closed off streets. The city was subsidizing this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, wouldn't it be cool if we had like a DIY running scene? Because even the DIY scenes that are run by like local running shops, it's still like $35 a race. And
Sure.
they're like, you get T-shirts and all this stuff, but I'm like, I don't want swag. I don't care.
Sure.
And I
You
was
just want a
thinking,
group of people to run a marathon with.
Yeah.
well, not even a marathon, like even having like a little race. And so when I've been running lately, I've been thinking about like, how do we do this? Like, could you make it for free, or could you make it like really cheap? Like, because I was thinking my idea was to kind of have like little races in Akron, and then have like a racing license, which is essentially just saying that you came and signed up. Because I don't know like what the liabilities are of having one of these races. I don't want to do it and then get sued or something like that.
Right, that's
And
the
like
trick.
the race
Yeah.
license would be like $1, and then it would get you a number, and essentially the number just allowed me to keep track of like who signed non-liability waivers and stuff like that.
Sure.
And once you got the license, you could show up for free, and essentially all that the race was just like it goes from here to here and then back. So it could be through any random part of the city that has sidewalks or anything, and then the whole race is like get to the point where the other person's at, have them like punch your card to show that you got there, and then run back, and whoever's first gets the honor of being the first person. Who cares? Like, there's no prizes. There's just like you just show up and it's free.
Not
You can run.
Piece of
Right.
shit.
I like it.
That's
So
cool.
I'm in.
That's a cool idea. I mean,
I'm just
honestly,
thinking about it. And
yeah, like I mean, like there are definitely people in DIY scenes. Some of it, I mean, some of it's political, but not all of it. Definitely people who do a lot of wellness stuff. A lot of like, you know, there's a lot of vegans, obviously, just given the politics of it, and a lot of people that just they get into like the organic and like the living well and the health stuff. And so I definitely see a lucrative opportunity within like a DIY community to do running. I mean.
Yeah, and actually, Sean, one of the homeless shelters in Cincinnati, one of the like program type things they do is they have somebody who will come in and just volunteers their time to do marathon training
That's cool.
because the homeless people need something to do and a way to get healthy. And so, you know,
I mean, that's what I mean. Like, it's free to exercise, as long as, you know, like, I don't know, I don't want to be liable for anything. That's the big thing that's holding me back from doing it, is just like, because I have free time, and you know, and I think that once you got it started, you could literally do it with like 2 people.
Sure.
You could have one person at the start point, have one person at the halfway point, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm all about that. That's cool. So.
Well, let's use that as a segue then. If you're interested in the DIY running thing, why don't you hit Sean up on Twitter? He is at Evans_merge, and I'll let him do the rest of his shameless plugs.
Hold on, I wrote them down. Well, Taylor said my thing, my Twitter hashtag. I also have a Tumblr. It's been kind of boring lately. I'm gonna do a rip comic this week, so look forward to that. I've been planning that for a while, so check that out. Also check out my metal review article. It's actually like not that metal. It's not that useful, and it's not that metal. It's all like kind of like, hi, these guys make great metal, and I'm Sean, and I don't want to say bad things about people who are creative because that's bad. Other
There
than
will
that,
be a link. It's also on our website.
yeah. Other than that, check out my Meerkat. I've been doing it more lately. And then you guys might also see me soon on our syndicated podcast known as Sean Doesn't Play.
Video games.
Point to it, Tyler, so I don't have a logo on my thing.
Sean Doesn't Play Video Games, airing this September 13th, right after Dude's Brunch.
Woo!
Does that put us in prime time? Are we in the prime time slot?
I think
Sure.
Dude's Brunch is prime time and you're late night, actually.
You're Conan. That's all you're ever gonna be is Conan.
Sweet! I'm okay with that. That means I'll get
We're
tired of
going
my
to be
job
like
and
Stephen
make my own
Colbert
show.
territory here pretty soon. It's going to be really epic.
I'm Team Conan all the way, whatever. I don't give a shit.
All right. Tyler, Team Conan Reed, what shameless plugs do you have?
You can call me that whatever you want. Alright, so, you can find me at TDR Design on Twitter. You can find my website, tylerdreed.com. I'm on this podcast, but also starting another podcast called Sean Does Play Video Games. It's where Sean and I go on a magical adventure where I show him the magical world of indie video games. Twitter handle for that is Sean Doesn't Play. The YouTube is all jumbled up with its URL, so once we get an official URL, we'll send that out. So I don't think there's anything there on the page yet, so don't even worry about it. Just follow on Twitter, start talking. The Shovel Knight amiibo just got like announced, so I'm super excited about that. Shovel Knight's a game that I definitely want to play with Sean soon. Ready for that to happen. Let's do it.
That's me.
First episode of Super Meat Boy, if you didn't know that.
Tim, shameless plug from you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I don't do like as many different things as I used to do. I mean, like I was, I did Listen or Don't for like 2 years, which Taylor was on several times. But like
R.I.P.
that's been gone a while. I know I missed that show. That was fun.
Was
We
that
should start back up.
Was that the radio show at UC?
It was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I listened to that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
because
fun.
Sean was the one who came up with Quirrell, which I said.
Quirrell.
Yeah.
Dude, Quirrell was a powerful episode. It was a powerhouse situation on that show.
We'll put a link down in the show notes for people to go back and
Sure.
check
If
out
people
the
want to go
archive.
back and listen to the old pod, definitely go to the more recent ones. The older ones are a little rough. Like
Yeah.
season 3 is much better. But right now I'm in a band. I'm in a Cincinnati band called Lipstick Fiction. I'm the drummer. We got a couple shows coming up. We're gonna be at, like I said, DeVita House on Eden, September 30th. We're gonna be with a band called Manic Seas from Richmond, Virginia. Going to be a couple DJs there as well, so it'll be a good time. We'll have fun. October 9th, 10th, and 11th. There's this big DIY festival called Adjust Your Eyes going on in Over the Rhine, and let me see if I can remember them all. It's going to be the Woodward Theater, Motor, the Drinkery, Mr. Pitifuls, Cincy by the Slice, and Maudie's, and like one more. There's going to be like 6 or 7 venues, and it's like $10 for the whole weekend. And it's just going to be there's going to be a ton of bands, touring bands, local bands. Almost every band in Cincinnati is playing.
Are there still open slots on that? If other people's bands want to join in, or is it?
Yeah, as far as I know, they may be able to get you in, just depending. I mean, it seems like it's pretty casual on that end. Definitely check out. You can find them on Facebook if you just look up Adjust Your Eyes. But yeah, I mean, there may be opportunities for showcases if they're just looking for a few more bands and showcases here and there. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly when we're playing yet. Like, they haven't officially scheduled us. A little birdie tells me it looks like we may be playing at Cincy by the Slice on Sunday night, which is the 11th, which is my 24th birthday. So.
Whoa, wait, Cincy by a Slice, that's a small place.
Oh yeah, it is.
Punk show at a pizza shop.
Pizza window. It's right next to Lucy Blue, where I also went to a punk show at.
There are a couple there, so.
We will let the podcast and the viewers know when your band's playing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Send us a tweet or send me a message, and I'll let them know.
Do you guys have any tracks available right now? Anything to listen to?
Yeah, we do have. If you find us on Facebook again, Lipstick Fiction. Under our little website thing, like we have a SoundCloud. Our tracks are they're very DIY, to say the least. They're not recorded in one room with one mic, that kind of a situation. But it'll give you kind of a general idea of what we're going for. And definitely come see it live because it's a lot louder and a lot more fun. So,
like any good punk is.
yes.
All right, and shameless plugs from me and the show. You can find me on Twitter at TC Olmstead. You can find the show on Twitter at Dudes Brunch. You can visit the show's website, dudesbrunch.wordpress.com, where you can read articles like Sean's Metal Reviews You Can't Use, or my 6 Ways to Survive the Gaslight Anthem, or whatever Tyler maybe writes sometime in the future.
Sooner or later, maybe.
Ooh, can I write something just awesome? I don't even know, like a.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, hell yeah.
If it's gonna be awesome, of course you can.
Yeah, anybody can write for our site. There's a submission page on the site, so please feel free to send in topics.
Can I write like 10 dankest memes that have
Can you
ever been
please do
bad?
that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll think of
Go
something
for it.
involving memes.
Now, if you say
I want to be on the show again because I do want at some point to do a thing about memes. Like I do want that to just be a whole
The
thing.
dankest of memes.
right.
You can do that.
Well,
What's the
Taylor-
dankest
Taylor,
thing right now, Tim?
do you
Yeah,
really
Tim.
think I would come on your show with subpar memes?
No.
No, you can do better than that.
Tim,
Honestly,
Tim
I know
does subpar memes.
it's the stupidest thing, but there was a prank phone call on some show in New York, and basically they kept tricking this woman into picking the phone up, and it always like ended in it being an ad for like WWE Super Slam with John Cena.
That's what it
And
is.
then-
John Cena's the dankest theme right now.
They would just shout and like have his theme song. So the big meme right now is like like videos, usually like Disney movies or something. But whenever you're about to learn someone's name, it just cuts out to John Cena, and like they crank them. It's so loud. And it just has his theme, his theme song just blaring. And it's like I've seen it. I've seen 100 variations on it, and I always know it's coming, and I still always laugh. So I think that again, that probably says more about me than it does about how funny it is. But that by far the dankest meme of the moment.
We should all check out John Cena's Sexy High School Adventure while you're at it. Did I talk about that last week? I feel like I did. I feel like I've.
John Cena's Sexy High School Adventure.
That's right.
That sounds like something that got Jared arrested.
It's
Oh,
topical.
Oh.
Getting heavy.
I'm really amazed it took until, half an hour after the show was supposed to end for someone to make that joke. Like, oh, guys, one more thing, just because I just saw it. Did you guys see that Wes Craven died?
Yeah,
No.
I heard
Yeah,
that
like
when
I
he was on
just
Come Home
saw that. Like my friend just sent that to me while we were on here. So,
Oh,
R.I.P. mate. Like that's really bad.
that is really sad. So one final shameless plug from everybody here at the show. You can order Dude's Brunch merch. However, you should wait because I ordered a test piece and there are some kinks. I'll let you know when there's better merch. And finally, congratulations to friend of the show and my roommate, Ben Pentecost, who is our first bingo winner.
Oh, did he win?
He did.
Did he post his board?
He hasn't posted his board yet. He said come down here because he didn't want to post it and he's in the living room. So if he actually won, I'll let you guys know and he'll be our first bingo winner. But thanks everybody for tuning in and we'll be back next week with more brunch.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.